Hey there. Today we are going to see how to become a full stack developer. Before that, why we need to know about the full stack. So what is the requirement of the full stack? Full stack is nothing but person has to understood end to end flow. The end to end which I'm representing has to know the front end as well as the back end. So which is end to end. If you guys are studying a college, you guys should have this basic knowledge to get placed in IT company. Or suppose you guys are already working on IT company has working on a specific domain in front end. If you need to switch to the back end, you guys should know about this full stack development. So if you guys know the full stack development, you can easily able to work on the any domain, and also for writing your code quality, these things should know the full stack development. So without knowing the full stack development, if you guys are working something, that will be not a good practice. So you guys should understand what front end works, how back end works. Then only you guys can able to work and give a efficient quality code. Come on guys. So what is full stack? A full stack developer helps to build and maintain both the front end and the back end of the website. So this concept is not only for the website, and we can able to apply the same logic for the mobile application also. You guys should know the keywords. These keywords are most important keyword you guys should remember. The firstly, client side. The second one, the server side. The third one is database. The fourth one is API, which is application program interface. The lastly, middleware. Repeating again, client side, server side, database, API, middleware. So what is client side? So client side is nothing but front end. So front end is nothing but person who is able to see the application directly on the on the laptop or anything. For example, I'm someone has building some website. Who can able to see the website? Who can able to use the website? The users. So user is seeing something, right? So that is client side. The client is seeing their requirement. So that is client side. For example, I'm just giving a demo. See, let's open Zoho official website. See, I have opened the Zoho official website. So see, this is the landing page. So this is client side. So I'm just seeing, I'm a client. I'm just seeing these Zoho pages. So this is client side. So next that server side. So what is server? The server side is nothing but for the client side we are getting something, right? So that is server side. So that in client side how we can work on that. So how we can design these things. So using the HTML and CSS. So currently we are just using HTML and CSS to design this client side, right? For these client side we need to get some content. So this content where we are getting from, we are getting from server side. The server is nothing but we are doing some logical calculation and operations and giving to the client side. For example, if you guys are getting to show the total number of students present in this year, so that count we are going to see in the we are going to show in the front end, so which is client side. So in server side we are just calculating what are the operations we need to do. So these kind of logical operations are going to perform in server side. Thirdly, database. So database is nothing but database management system. we are going to manage some data. So I told like the student example. So in the student, we need to store, we need to know how many students present in that, right? So we can able to store that details to the database. So database has to contain the data of something. It may be student, it may be teacher, it may be anything. It has lot of data. In server side, we are getting the data and we are just filtering or we are just doing some analytics on that, and then in client side we are just showing only the required data. So these are all the basic things. Client side, server side, database. So database can hold data, and then client side we can able to get the data from the database, and then we can do some performance in that according to our requirement. In client side we are just showing the data. So these are all the basic things. The tech stack we can able to show, in client side it may be HTML and CSS. Server side it may be like SQL. No, no. In server side it may be like Node.js, JavaScript, Python, Java, all those things. In database it should be database management system, PostgreSQL, SQL, or MongoDB. Database can be divided into two types. One is NoSQL, another one is SQL. NoSQL is nothing but, I'm just giving some only low level example in that. So in SQL we have to store each and every data as a table and columns. But in NoSQL it's MongoDB, Mongo database. So we can able to only store the data directly to the object. So in separate video I'm just giving a whole thing about how MongoDB and SQL works. Now, this is the whole front end, as I told, right? So, website, the front end, the client side. So, website is communicating to the back end, which is server side. Back end is communicating to the database. So, database can hold n number of data. Database may be anything. It may be SQL, or it may be we can host directly to the cloud, anything. So this is the example. So user, for example, I'm just filling in student user. I'm just creating a user. So you in client side, I'm just adding some data. I'm just creating a form. I'm just applying a form, doing submit button. That submit button directly goes to the server side. In server, we are just checking the required data or having in it. So once all the requirement is done, then we are just storing into the database. This is also one more example. So now next to that, we need to know, we already know client and server and database are communicating each other. We are having three person. The person one is client, person two is server, person three is database. These three person are communicating to each other. How they are communicating? That's the best question. The communication happening through HTTP request, which is API, application program interface. So what is API? So API is nothing but it should communicate directly through client to server, server to client, which is API. So see here, coming to this example, so the client is giving a request to the API. API is giving a request to the API server. API server is nothing but a database. So database is giving response to the API. So API is giving response to the client. So here mentioning that API is a server and the API server is a database. So this is the basic thing. One, we are just giving a request, getting a response. So request response, two things. So how we can give a response and request. So what are all the types of API currently we are having on? Currently we are having four types of API. This is the most used APIs. So get method, post method, put method, delete method. We are having four things. Get, put, delete, post. The four thing we are having here. So if if I need to get something, for example, when I'm just landing on the screen, I need to get something. So that the time get will work. If I need to put something directly to the database, which is already presented. For example, I'm already having a student data in the database. I just need to update only the data, but at the time we can use put method. I'm just deleting the student ID directly, and that student exit from the college. I'm just deleting the student ID, delete. The post, I'm just adding something. I'm just creating a new user. So at the time we can able to use post. The next, the REST API methods. So these are the four methods I told, right? Get, post, put, delete. So these four things. This also called REST APIs. Coming to that, so this is the one basic example. So HTTP and HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. We are having two things. I'm just showing the live example. See here. So I'm in this domain. When I'm clicking this dot, coming here, connection is secure. See this secure, right? When I'm clicking this HTTPS, suppose if it's HTTP, we are not having that security. So this is the best example. If you guys are using directly to the HTTP, that's not a secure one. Anyone can easily hack the particular domain what we're using on. So that only we are just getting this HTTP. This connection is secure. So no one can able to hack our website directly. So this is the security thing we need to pay and we need to get this thing. And the next to that, I'm just showing the best example for this API thing. So you guys, I'm just giving here. Just right click, do an inspect. You guys can open any of the website. You can do this. Then go to the network. So in this network, so currently I'm just clicking this customer. See here, some API is happening here, happening. So this is the thing. They are just giving a method. So they use the post method. So this is the payload they are sending on. So payload is nothing but if you guys are consider this example, I need to get a student whose name is Prem detail from the database. So while sending the request, I'm just adding the name as Prem. So this payload help us to identify what data we are going to take on, and then response. Once that API is accessed, it will give a response. So this is the basic thing. Here we in this thing we can able to see what are all the things we are using on. So this video I will separately gives the whole thing about what is header, payload, preview, all those things about that. So currently I'm just showing the basic understanding. So this is the thing. So what are things you are needed when we are clicking on, we need to get this data, right? So this data directly present in database. We are just while clicking this, I'm just getting this. So using the get method, we are getting all the data directly showing through the HTML page. So which is client side. So this that HTTP and HTTPS we all know, right? So HTTP also will work, but for security reason we need to pay and get the certificate which is SSL certificate for the particular website and we are using on. So the nextly, what is this? So this HTTP is called protocol. Hypertext stands for protocol. So the firstly, whenever you whatever the website you guys are going on, just click here. You guys can able to see https://www.zoho.com about us.html. So HTTP is a protocol. After the double slash, this www dot, which is subdomain. See, HTTP is a protocol, www dot is a subdomain. The next to that, domain name. So here the domain name will be Zoho. .com should be top level domain. So it may be anything .com, .io, .in, all those things. So once if you are giving this www.zoho.com, it directly enter into our website. So once it's entered into the website, if you are moving directly, it's landing to the home page. So after the home page, if you guys are need to move to the any other module like product customer, so this thing will change. See, right? So I just changed directly to the customer, so this URL will change. So these are all the basic understanding. So for this thing, the mainly this is client side. Well, data we are getting from the server. Server is directly getting data from the database. So database is the one going to store all the data. Directly we are just recalling this. Ending this session, we seen the client side. The client side is nothing but the user going to use this website. The server side is nothing but it's a programming server. So it's just doing some logical operation and calculation, all the logical operation and calculation, directly giving value to the client side. It getting the data from the database. So database may be two type. SQL, NoSQL. The SQL should be SQL or Postgres. NoSQL should be MongoDB. Then this communication happening through the client server database is happening through the API. So which is application program interface. Ending to that, we forgot the middleware. So what is middleware? So ending to that, we are going to see what is middleware. So so middleware is nothing but we are giving the request directly to the server, so it may have a lot of chance to easily hacker can hack our server. So for predicting that, we are introducing the middleware. So whatever the request directly coming from the client side, it will go to the middleware. So in middleware, it's directly check this request is directly coming from our my front end. So you guys can able to know one few thing about that. We can manage one server, multiple client. For example, I'm just having one server, having the website and also having the mobile app. For mobile app and website having the same server, and also third person can directly access our server. So for predicting that, we guys should have some unique key. So what are the requests I'm just getting? That request should have my unique key. Middleware should check each request having the unique key. If it's success, then only it allow to communicate to the server. If it fails, it block from there itself. If we have forgot to introduce the middleware, whatever the product we are developing on, it should be in very high risk. So mainly data security is the major one we guys should be concentrating on. If we forget to handle this data security, then hacker can easily hack our data and he will threatening and ask you for money. Definitely we guys should give. So building the major product, middleware is the heart of the thing. We should have to know about that. So client, server, in between middleware. Whatever the request is coming, it will go to the middleware. If middleware is success, then it will give a server. Then server response is done, it will give a response directly to the client side. Ending this session, hope you guys all have some basic idea about what is client side, what is server side, what is database, how what API is working, how these things are communicating to each other. To know more about this tech stack, subscribe me. Having any queries, ping me and comment. Hope you guys learned a new thing today. Thank you guys.